Hey, what's up? This is David Draiman from Disturbed, and you're watching Loudwire.
Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is a little bit of the current state of the music industry. Of course, touring drives everything, and I think we're almost hitting an oversaturation point. You know, some bands are touring 4 or 5 times in the same areas in a year. Now, what you did with Disturbed a while ago is you went away. Do you think that's a strategy more bands should consider, is to build demand back up?
Not everyone can. Not everyone can from a financial aspect, to be perfectly honest. We're successful enough that we had the luxury of being able to do that.
Sure.
For younger bands that don't have the draw that we do, it's incredibly difficult. It really is.
Sure.
For bands that don't understand or that don't fully take advantage of how the machine actually works, it's incredibly difficult. People demonize streaming. You know, they think that that's the thing that killed, you know, aspects of this industry when nothing could be further from the truth. Piracy is what killed aspects of this industry. Streaming is bringing it back. The difference is that every band needs to really pay attention to what their record contract says. And if they look at what their royalty rate is, if you realize you're getting 0.07 cents for every stream, and your contract only says that you get 15 points on the record after you've recouped everything.
There's a lot of zeros after that decimal.
Exactly. So it just keeps on being reduced and reduced and reduced and reduced, and you have to really pay attention to it. You have to negotiate, you have to hardball, you have to, and you have to try and improvise and adapt and overcome. I've said that a million times. You know, there's no greater proof and testimony to the fact that streaming works than the fact that record companies are all of a sudden in the black again, and they're actually making profits, and they're actually seeing some of the best revenue they've seen in a decade.
If it didn't benefit them, they wouldn't have agreed to even let those songs be on there.
Hopefully now, with the passing of the Music Modernization Act, some of the particulars from the legislation will start permeating into how we end up operating as a business, collectively as a community, and hopefully we'll find some happy middle ground between artist and label that ends up making a little bit more sense.
Wouldn't it be nice to have that again?
It would be.
And one thing I think that streaming is doing really for rock and metal is helping it is the related artist tab. You like that band? Go check out these 30 other bands.
Oh, the discovery aspect of it is huge. And see, that's what I also see as a tremendous positive to it, is people can demonize it 100 Ways to Tuesday, but at the end of the day, you have greater opportunity to reach more people than you ever did in your life as an artist. There's more avenues to do it. It's easier to do it. So
how could that ever be a bad thing?
It can be a bad thing when you get lost in the shuffle, when there are too many voices not being heard, and you don't get enough, or your particular project doesn't get enough volume or exposure. You know, for the fans, there's never a bad thing. There's no such thing as too much music. But for bands, the more competition,
the harder it is.
The more difficult.